Sunrise in my eyes, my rock's sweeter, beneath the one I love. I don't know how, don't know why, I've been toasting all my life. Oh, it's sweeter. I've been toasting all my life.
Welcome to Phillip Island, Victoria in Australia. What a setting we have for this great sporting contest, the Little Penguin Sea to Dune race. Nervous moments always as they gather on the beach, the tension mounting, and away they go. There's the defending champion, wearing his familiar navy blue and white, great waddling style. Another pre-race favourite though, losing touch with the pack. Maybe that's why. A few too many fish in the day's feeding. There's a familiar face, Skip McIntyre, 8 times a champion back in the 90s, a very successful coach now, keeping a keen eye on proceedings. This the leading group, 1 or 2 still able to put on a show for the camera, others just ploughing straight over it. Some resorting to shortcuts. Sad that cheating has crept into this beautiful sport. The judges will have a look at that. But up at the front, the pace is relentless, closing in on those sand dunes that will offer a bed for the night. The fatigue starting to tell. Who's got the finishing kick up on the outside? What a turn of pace from that one, whichever one it is. No answer from the rest, and he takes victory. What a win. There we are, into the Burrow, building an extension with his winnings, and back tomorrow to try and defend his title here on Phillip Island.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Live Penguin TV. My name is Sky. I'm going to be your host for the evening, and tonight I am joined by Rachel.
Hi guys, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Rachel, and I will be answering your questions tonight, so please feel free to pop in your questions. We also have a bunch of rangers on standby answering your questions on Facebook and YouTube for the next 24 hours. For those of you who are guessing, yesterday night we've got 1,422 penguins came in at about 8:47. A lot of penguins come home, which is nice. Thank you, Sky.
Yeah, so 1422 last night. The night before was over 2,000. Tonight we have Tom counting. He is in the skybox right now. He is looking out to see if any penguins are coming in. And we've got Ranger Elizabeth, and she is on the east stand tonight. I believe she was our penguin counter last night, so she's jumping right back into life here. And I believe Ranger Elizabeth has been with us here at the Penguin Parade since 1989. So since I was 1 year old. Isn't that incredible? Go Ranger Elizabeth. So it is a higher tide tonight. So we might be expecting the penguins a little bit earlier tonight, potentially, because it is a shorter dangerous dash. But you just never know. So we'll keep our eyes out for penguins on the water here. But before we go any further, I do want to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the water, of the beach, of the bushes of the land that is in front of us on the screen here. That is the Bunurong of the Kulin Nation. And I'd like to pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. So let us know where you're watching from, which country you are watching from. Oh, is that a penguin there? Oh, I think it's just silver gulls. Let's have a little look. Oh yes, just silver gulls. And on the topic of silver gulls, so today I went on an adventure. I went to the Nobbies. They are at the far end of the peninsula here on Phillip Island, the Sumland Peninsula. It's the furthest end of this penguin colony that we've got here of 32,000 little penguins. And just this year, again, the silver gulls, or seagulls, like you can see on the screen there, they have decided to use the Nobbies as their nesting ground, as their little their colony essentially. So it's a lovely little walk that you can do at the Nobbies, and at the moment, yep, you'll see seagulls or silver gulls everywhere. You'll see their little chicks. They literally sit right on top of their little chicks. They're sort of small and brown and spotty. It's very, very cute. They sort of get a bit of swooping. You get all of that, and they do that thing where they sort of rails up and they go, and then they put their head down. They're like, arr. Oh, they're so funny, aren't they? Rachel's laughing at me. But they're fantastic. It's a really great walk at the moment. So make sure if you do come and visit us that you do head down to the Nobbies. And the other thing about the Nobbies is that we usually have the Nobbies Antarctic Journey open, and of course we've had to have that building closed for the last little while. But today, those who are watching from Victoria and in Melbourne will know that we had some of our restrictions slightly lifted today, and we are not sure what that means for our sites just yet. But what I will say is, if you are interested in a trip down here to Phillip Island, I would suggest to keep an eye on our Facebook, keep an eye on our website, because I would imagine, and this is just me speculating, but I would imagine that with this change in restrictions, I would imagine that we would start to see perhaps some more, oh, here's some penguins, perhaps some more tickets to the penguins opening up at some point, perhaps. I'm not exactly sure when, I'm not exactly sure how, even if, but I would imagine that if all is going well, I know our managers are busily trying to work out what the lift in restrictions mean for us, but I would be hoping that we might be seeing some more tickets for the Penguin Parade soon, maybe, and we might be able to open that Nobbies Antarctic Journey building soon as well. No promises, but keep your eyes peeled on our social media, because you never know. And we'll let you know as soon as we know. But yes, certainly a trip, hello penguins, a trip to the Nobbies is a fantastic thing to do when you come and visit us here on Phillip Island. We look after the Nobbies. Phillip Island Nature Parks looks after the Nobbies. We look after the the silver gull colony. We look after all the penguins at the Nobbies as well. We look after the Koala Conservation Reserve, Churchill Island. We look after Oswin Roberts Reserve, Cape Woolamai, pretty much all of the south side beaches we look after, we manage. And we do a lot of work in conservation, research, education. You can support us by coming and visiting us at our sites, and you can also support us by jumping to the link above, below, to the side, wherever it is, and chucking us a donation. Become a penguin pal, adopt a penguin. Is that your adopted penguin in the screen there? Can you see them? Is that yours? Which one's yours? Let us know in the comment. Is it the one on the far left? Is it the one running back? Have you got a scaredy cat penguin? Have you got a brave penguin? But yeah, certainly do donate, adopt a penguin, become a penguin pal if you can. And actually, I saw a penguin at the Nobbies today. So if you want to really get the most penguiny experience that you can, you do have a chance of seeing penguins when you visit the Nobbies and do the walk there. I saw a few as I peered into burrows as I walked along. I saw a few little faces sticking out, but today I did see a chick. I don't know if it was a silly chick. I don't know if it was a desperate chick. I don't know if it was a hot chick, but it came out of its burrow and I could see all of its fluffy feathers down its back. And it was sort of running around, and it sort of run a little bit away from its burrow, and then it would kind of freak out and it'd run back into its burrow, but then it would go again. Now, sometimes our little chicks, when they're getting a bit older and getting a bit perhaps rebellious, they don't want to be by themselves in their burrows. So what we see sometimes is that they leave their burrows and go to the burrows of their friends and hang out in burrows with other penguins. It's as if they want that penguiny closeness. Oh, these guys might be starting a bit early today. I wonder if they'll chicken out. I guess it is a bit darker today. Oh, they're off and going. Look at that. Oh, this might be happening, everybody. Ooh, let's watch and see. But anyway, I did see this little chick today. It was running around, and I'm not sure if it was too hot inside its burrow and that's why it was coming out, because it was a hot day today. Or we wondered if maybe it was really, really hungry and it felt a little bit desperate. Or, yep, it could have just been a cheeky chick wanting to hang out with its friends. So, yeah, certainly do head down to the Nobbies and see what you can see down there. There's always something going on, and quite a few visitors were there today enjoying this little cheeky penguin. Yeah, these guys are off. They're not wasting any time. Last time they started the beach cross at 8:47. Tonight is only about 8:32. We will see if they make it to the halfway point, though, because remember, we don't start the count until they get halfway across the beach. So we'll see if they make it. But they really do seem like they're on a mission. They seem like they're going for it. They must be taking heart by the fact it's a little bit darker out there tonight. But the other thing I saw when I was at the Nobbies today, unfortunately, was a few bits of rubbish in the colony with the penguins and with the silver gulls. And so I just want to remind everybody to make sure they put their rubbish in the bin. First of all, try not to even create rubbish. Try to make choices that mean that you don't create any rubbish. If you have to create rubbish with your choices, then make sure it ends up in the bin. And particularly with the moment, make sure if you're using a disposable mask that you cut the straps off the ear bits, because we're seeing birds getting tangled up in these masks. It's causing a new big problem for a lot of our birds. So that's your little environmental message for the night. Now they seem to be, do these penguins think these are the preening rocks? We seem to be seeing a few quite relaxed penguins there right now. I know they're back moving again. But it sort of seemed like we're seeing penguins going, oh yeah, we've made it, pruning themselves. Not quite, little penguins. Let's zoom out and see how close they are to the end. Oh, they've come up in a bit of a weird spot. They're going to have to, oh no, that's not true. Looks like we've just had some more sand wash in though, which is very nice. It's interesting to see how the beach changes, isn't it? If you sort of remember back to those first nights and see how it all looks different. But I reckon this is more sand than we've seen for a while. Oh, they seem to be pausing again. It's not the preening rocks, little friends. You're still quite exposed. You're not across the beach just yet. Have we had a start to the count yet, Rach?
We do.
Yep, fantastic. Oh gosh, are they running back now? Oh no. You're not going to go all the way back to the beach, are you? You were almost there. Are you serious?
Oh, wow.
No, they stopped? Oh, this is really bizarre. Usually if they run all the way, don't they, Rachel? So this makes it a little bit confusing for Tom, because I think a few of them did make it back. Oh, did any of them make it back to the water? Oh, I wasn't paying attention. Well, they still are. No, they're trudging back. So Tom will have started the count, will have counted these guys, and now they're thinking of going back to the water. No! Oh, this makes it so confusing.
I actually got a question for you, Sky.
Yeah, got a question?
Yeah, we do have very clear pathway without rocks on
Yeah.
the right side. Why do the penguins hop and jump on the rocks instead?
Yeah, great question. So I would imagine it's because within these rocks, remember these are little penguins. They are the smallest species in the world, and they have blue feathers on their back that we can see quite clearly as they run away, white feathers on their belly. But as they walk forward and lean forward, what you see is, or what something would see from above, would be blue against a dark black basaltic rock. So I think it's that the rocks provide camouflage. They provide protection. Oh, yep, there they go, running back again. Yeah, they provide extra protection. So yeah, I would think that we would see them running up the sand. And I wonder, this is my hypothesis, for those who don't know what that means, that is like a scientific postulation. It is what you think might happen, and then you test it with your scientific experiments. And we're not going to be doing a scientific experiment, but we will watch. And I wonder if later in the night, once it gets darker, if we might see more penguins running across that open sand and less choosing to cross the rocks. Let's watch and see. But yeah, if I were a penguin, I think I'd be wanting to head across using the sand. However, I also wouldn't want to get eaten, so maybe I would take the difficult walk across these rocks. And actually, I was walking across these rocks today. This is the Summerland beach, and you can actually go for swims here during the day. So I went for a swim here today because I was up at the Nubbies and then I wanted to swim, and this is a close beach. Yep, they're running back. There's a few, I think, that have stuck to it. This is making the counting very difficult for Tom. Yeah, there's a few. You can just see their little white bellies just waiting and seeing what they want to do. Some are, continuing to walk back, but they're walking back slowly. Usually if they walk back at this point, it is a race, not a, oh yeah, I guess I'll plod back to the water and wait for the other raft. I wonder if they can hear the hucking of these other penguins. So remember that when these penguins arrive around that time, what we tend to hear if we're sitting on these stands is that huck, 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 huck noise, and that's how we know that they're coming. That's often our first signal that penguins are standing by, is that we hear that huck huck noise, which you might have seen in the comments tonight. But yeah, maybe they're hearing that huck huck and they're going, oh, my buddies are back there. All right, off we go. Silly things. Oh, and you can see their footprints as they go. That's cute. Yeah, they're off and racing now. So yeah, they've called a start time, but it hasn't actually resulted in many, if any, penguins actually arriving near the front. Let's have a little look. Do we see any penguins on the preening rocks? No, not really. So in some ways it's a bit of a false alarm. However, we have to stand by our rules, and if they get halfway across the beach, we call a start time. As I said, they don't usually run back after they have passed halfway, but they don't always play by the rules. They don't always play by their own rules. All right. Looks like they're trying again. There's still some at the back who aren't too happy about it. It does look like they might be heading more towards that clearer spot. But they are mostly sticking to the rocks by the look of it. Take two. Try again, little penguins. And you know what, if I was a little penguin, I'd be a little bit nervous to cross this beach as well, because you're only 33 centimetres tall. You're a tasty meal for a bird of prey that might still be awake. If you're not feeling it, better to just run back to the sea where you're a bit more protected than risk it for the biscuit and go a little bit too early. Better safe than sorry for these little penguins. Yeah, they look like they're not turning back this time. And yes, look at that. Taking the clearer pathway now. Here we go. See, I wonder if that was because of the light. All right, here we go. They're coming, and as they come, do we have any questions, Rachel?
Yes, we do, Sky.
Yeah.
We've got Mr. 5 asking, how fast can a penguin waddle?
How fast can a penguin waddle? Great question, Mr. Fye. I don't know that we've ever got a little radar gun and timed them necessarily. And in fact, I know for sure that we haven't done that. One of our, oh gosh, where are they running now? What are they doing? You're not going to run back to the beach now. Hopefully they're just running to the safety of the rocks. I wonder what spooked them. So I will answer your question. They're just changing their direction a little bit. Okay, no worries, penguins. So, yes, how fast do they walk? Waddle, sorry. Yes, how fast do they waddle? Well, they can, as you can see, sometimes they can be waddling quite fast, other times they take it slower. But one of our researchers, Ross, he said that he's done his own, not very scientific tests, and he says that the pace at which they waddle tends to be about the pace that you would walk down the aisle if you were getting married. So he describes it as, you know how you take a step and then put your feet together and then take another step and put your feet together, like da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, like that. That's how fast, if he was walking alongside one penguin, that's the sort of pace at which he's walking to accompany them on their way back to the burrow. So I'm sorry that I can't give you a fact or a figure, but that's about how fast they walk. It's as if they're getting married. So if you were to marry a penguin, as long as it would take you to walk down the aisle, that's how fast they waddle. And that's Ranger Ross, or our researcher, data analyst Ross, is responsible for that little story. Some of you might remember when he came and talked to us about all things data. A few weeks ago now, it was in October, it was part of our nature festival. Oh, here we go. So many of these penguins are not waiting. They are just straight off. They are not preening. They are not hanging around. They are continuing on. There they go. Heading on up the dry stream. It's been very, very dry here recently. And we might start to see them coming onto that highway very shortly, if we're lucky. So, nothing up there yet, or they might all just be going under the stand. We've got one or two just standing in the middle here. Yep, they're feeling safe and sound now that they've made it back to the colony. They're just relaxing in front of our Penguins Plus stand. Let's get a little bit of a closer look at them. What are they up to? Oh, they're just hanging out. Someone's coming along. Is this going to inspire them to walk? Yes, it does. Off they go. And they continue on their way. They might be heading up the hill. Oh, meeting some buddies. Oh, yep, bit of a shake. And are they going to continue, or are they going to just stop there in that weird spot that they stop up and... Oh, no, they're on their way up the hill. Now, the grass has dried out a little bit, so it is a bit easier to see as they waddle up the hill. It was quite dense and green for a while, but it is a little bit easier for viewing at the moment. Yeah, they're continuing. Here we go. Oh, and some are just arriving on the Penguin Highway. Might follow these guys for just a little bit longer. Oh, hello. Who's this? So I will flick to the highway later. Don't you worry. I just want to see who we've got here, emerging from a little hidden burrow. Are you young? Are you old? Are you chick? Are you adult? Who are you? Oh, what do you think, Rachel?
I can't tell.
Can't tell. Not. Oh, ooh, is that a bit of? I can't tell if that's grass or that looks like to me might be a bit of. Let me just make this other screen a little bit bigger so I can. This one's a little bit better. That looks like it might be some fluffy feathers around the neck. It might be a bub. I think this might be a chick, but it is a bit hard because there's a big bit of grass just over exactly where I'd be looking. No, I might have called it too early. I'm not sure. It is a bit tough to see. Could be an old one. But just hanging out there in the grass. Very sweet. We've got a few burrows around here. Don't know if there's been many chicks up here recently. I think a lot of the chicks in this area have fledged already. They have head on out for their penguin gap year. So let's head back to the beach. Because of course our young penguins spend the first year of their life, a bit of a gap year. They go exploring, go out adventuring, and some of them end up swimming to about the border of South Australia. Some of them can go, ooh, stacks of penguins. Some of them can go a really long way. Oh, wow, really stacks of penguins. Gosh, I'm going to have to zoom out to see all of them. Oh, yep, so they've come in very spread out. They're going to need to form together into a group, into a waddle. I think they'll have no problems with courage. I think they'll be feeling very confident to make that dash across the beach. Let me just quit out of this. Oh, that's much better. That means... So I've just quit out of something and now I've got a much bigger screen, which makes my job a lot easier to see what's going on the screen. Here we go. Have a go at counting, everybody. Oh, another raft is just going to be racing to join this raft at the front. Have a go at counting. We'll see if Tom calls through a number for us. Have we had any numbers from Tom?
No, not yet.
Not yet. And of course, that's Ranger Tom, who you know from these live streams. I think he does a good job counting, don't you think, Rachel?
Absolutely.
I think he's a very good counter. Our Tom doesn't miss a penguin, I reckon. Not one. It's a tough ask, though, isn't it? Not to miss a penguin. Oh, I counted the other night. I don't think I've spoken to you since not counted, but I was on East. I was on East on Friday, and then I was on yesterday, but wasn't doing much talking last night. I was very busy driving the cameras because, of course, I don't speak much Japanese. I speak a little bit. What I know is yochi yochi, waddle. I know fwa fwa, means it's sort of fluffy and soft, and I know peko peko, which is hungry or they need to eat something. I think, I might have stuffed it up. Here I am bragging, I know 3 things in Japanese and I might not have even remembered the last one very well. But anyway, on Friday I was counting on East, and I have to admit, you guys, I don't know that I did a very good job. I found it really hard. The first time I found it easier than expected. Second time I found it harder than expected. I think because I was like, oh yeah, it was easy last time. No worries, it'll be fine. Ugh. I was a bit panicky over there, but I was a bit lucky. There weren't as many penguins. That was the night where there was, I think, 2,000. Does that sound right? Yeah, that was the night it was over 2,000, but luckily most of the 1,000 were right in front of you, so you guys got great viewing, and there wasn't more than a few hundred for me, luckily. And they came in groups of no bigger than about 60, I think. I did my best. Luckily, the tide was low. I could double and triple count, but it's tough. I don't like it, you guys. I don't like it. I don't want to be a penguin counter. It's too hard. Particularly when it's groups like this. Look at this. Look at this mess. How is Tom going to do it? Poor thing. No, but I think he's in his element. This is nothing for Tom. This is all in a day's work for him. All right, here we are. Now these penguins, it's a little swarm, isn't it? Now let's see if they rest on the rocks or if they continue on. I reckon we're going to get some great highway cam footage very shortly as they round this bend. Any comments or questions, Rachel?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
From Sheridan.
Mm-hmm.
What are the penguins scared of? Why are they running back into the water?
Oh, what were the penguins scared of when they ran back to the water? Oof, I don't know. I would imagine that it might have been a bird of prey might have flown near them, perhaps, or something that they thought could have been a bird of prey might have flown near them, and they don't really wait around. They don't look and go, oh, is that something that's going to eat me or not? I'll decide whether I run. And if they see something sort of swoop near them, they just go. If something spooks them and they think they might be in danger, they don't wait around to go, is this irrational or is this a sensible thing to do? No, they just run because it's better to be safe than sorry. So, yeah, maybe a bird flew near them, but I don't know. The thing about these penguins is it is in their best interest to be a little bit nervous, to be a little bit scared, because the quicker they are to run back to the water, the safer they're going to be, the less likely they get eaten. The more they think, it was probably nothing, that's the penguin that gets eaten. The penguin that thinks it's probably nothing is the penguin that gets eaten. because they take a risk that they shouldn't have taken. All right, here we go. Penguin highway cam. Oh, look at that. Look at them all coming past. Hi, welcome home. Oh, you're so cute, waddling along. Yochi, yochi. For those who haven't watched, that's Japanese for waddle, waddle. Yochi, yochi. As they move along. And let's do a quick flick to see their bottoms as they waddle along. Oh, a penguin bottom is so cute. Look at them go. Waddling back to their burrows. It is the breeding season. They might be waddling back to their chicks. They might be waddling back. Not so many chicks now. Most of them have fledged, as far as we know. Many of them have. So they might be waddling back to eggs at this stage. Eggs that are that need incubating. Let me flick it back to the front-facing camera. See if we got everybody. Hello. They might be racing back to mate with their partners. They don't tend to stick with their partners during the day. They tend to hunt in a solitary fashion in the water. And then they find their partner back at the burrow at night time. Same burrow night after night they'll come back to. However, they may not necessarily be just mating with the one partner. They're not as lovely and monogamous as we would like to think. No, they will come back to the same partner and burrow night after night, but if they see someone that tickles their fancy on the way back to the burrow, well, we might see some mating. And they can mate up to, what, about 6 different penguins? Something like that. Quite a number of different partners per night. Ooh, we've got a bit of a narcissistic penguin here, checking itself out in the mirror. Oh, you fancy yourself, do you? You're like, hey, penguin, it's yourself, buddy. Getting distracted. Have an affair with yourself. Imagine that. So, yep, lots of reasons to be getting home this time of year. And the breeding season will continue on for most of the summer, calming down by about January, February, depending on what's going on. So let's flick back to the other camera and we've got some preening going on, but let's head back to the beach. And let's get another question while we look back to the beach.
Thank you so much, Sky. Who needs a name? I actually have got a really good question.
Mm-hmm.
Why do some penguins just go straight home and some of them can stay there and preen? Why do they go straight home and not preen?
Yeah, oh gosh, if I could understand the psychology of these penguins, my goodness. I would love to know. I would love to know why some of them are really happy just to preen right here in our preening rocks, while some of them preen in that spot over there, why some of them are really gunning at home. It could be that the ones who are really in a hurry to get home, they might have chicks that need to eat, and they might be like, right, I've got to go and feed my chicks. They might be really devoted parents, but also maybe not. Like, the thing is, they just do what they feel like. They do what they want in the moment they feel it. So some of them, they just stop and preen. You know, it might be that these ones who've stopped to preen have an itch that needs to be scratched, or they really need to fix their feathers. So it could be that there's definitely something that they need to do. Yep, they need to fix their feathers. They're not going to go any further until they fix their feathers. There's some that go, yep, I need to feed my chicks, and then they're not going to do anything until they feed their chicks. And then there's anything in between those two extremes of, oh, I'll get midway along and, oh, actually, yeah, maybe I will just fix up these feathers here. Oh, no, yeah, maybe I'll continue on my way. Sometimes they just stop in the weirdest places and people go, why are they stopping in that spot? They just felt like stopping in that spot. They might be tired. They might be having a rest. I would love to think that there was really good reasons as to why they stop and start and do exactly what they do. But the more I watch them, the more I think that there's not always a lot of reason to their rhyme, if you know what I mean. Sometimes they seem to just do things for the sake of it. Maybe they seem to have a really good reason. Maybe in their head it makes perfect sense. But to the casual bystander, to me, I look at it and go, oh, penguins, what are you doing? They don't always make a lot of sense, do they, Rachel?
No, they don't.
Yeah, and I think
Like
so.
us.
Yeah, like us, exactly. And I think, you know, I think we as humans, we always want to go, why are they doing that? What do they do that? They must have a reason. And sometimes the hard bit is to sort of accept sometimes they may just be feeling like it. They may just go, I just feel like doing it. They might not have you know, I don't know if their reasoning, the reasoning part of their brain is particularly strong, you know. But yeah, great question. maybe they've got something they need to do and that's why they race off. Maybe they've got feathers that need to be preened. Maybe that's why they stop. And then also, they just do what they want when they feel like it, and they're not going to be told by no one what to do. And they don't care if it makes sense or not. They're gonna do whatever they want. They're sassy, these penguins, I reckon. They're not listening to us. They know they don't have to make sense if they don't want to. They're penguins. They can do what they want. Ooh, some interaction on the path. We've got a couple of shell gritters heading down the pathway perhaps. So these are penguins with eggs in their belly that they're going to lay within the next few days probably. We see peak shell gritting about 3 days before they lay their eggs. So almost certainly these little ladies are ladies. And yet might be about to lay some eggs. Oh, we can also see some penguins just up the hill there, walking up the hill. That's sweet. Oh, I love these new cameras. They're just great, aren't they? Oh, yep, bit of preening there. Okay, so this shell gritter, you can see this shell gritter has got midway to the beach and is now going, I might just preen a bit. And this shell gritter probably hasn't even been in the water today. So it's not like her feathers are all out of place from the waves, and it's not like she's been all wet and watered down. No, she just needed to preen in that moment. Why? No one knows. I wish I knew. It'd be the ultimate penguin whisperer talent, wouldn't it? Maybe that should be my superhero power. You know, people ask you, what would you, if you could be a superhero power, like if you could have a power, what would you have? Maybe it'd be to understand what penguins are doing so that I could be a better tour guide and better live stream host. So I could interpret exactly what they were doing. Oh yes, that one is thinking about shells, but has just got distracted from her thoughts of shells to fiddle with a feather. That's my best guess, but who knows? So now I just need to get some... Oh, this one's turned around. Got distracted from what she meant to do. No, you were shell gritting. Turn around. Don't follow these guys. See, they don't always make a lot of sense. Yeah, off you go. Yep, you've remembered now. You're getting yourself confused, little lady. All right, so with just a few minutes left to go, I might take one more question and then we will say goodbye. So have you got any more last questions for me, Rach?
I do. From Julia.
Hi, Julia.
Yeah, she's wondering, does the male penguin only go hunting, or do they take turns?
Oh, yeah, great question, Julia. So, yes, they both have to take turns hunting because they need to fill themselves as well as fill the bellies of their chicks. So they take turns. They are really equal parents. They believe in equality, our little penguins. And so the dad will go out, he'll hunt, he'll bring some food back for the chicks and feed himself, and then he'll stay with the bubs while mum goes out, gets some food for herself, and then brings some food back for the chicks as well. And it's the same with looking after the eggs. The male will look after the eggs about 50% of the time. The female, of course, lays it, and then the males and the females will take their turns pretty fairly. All right, and as these little penguins waddle off home, I think Rachel and I need to waddle off home as well. So it's been lovely to talk to you all tonight. Make sure if you can that you donate to the Penguin Foundation. Link is in the description. Adopt a penguin, and do keep your eyes on our website for any talk of us opening or more tickets for the Penguin Parade becoming available, or the Nobbies potentially opening, or anything like that. With things changing every day, we don't exactly know what's going to happen, but once we have news, we will be passing it on to you. So if you are thinking of coming to visit, do keep your eye on social media for more news as it breaks. Oh, look at all these penguins waddling on home. Aren't they adorable? Goodbye, little penguins. Goodbye, Waddle watchers. Huck to everybody, and we will see you again very soon. So from Rachel and I, thank you so much for watching.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
See you next time.
Bye.